What's up, everybody? This is indeed the E-Man, chilling like a villain, singing like Bob Dylan, keeping on the low with some double stuff Oreos. Yes, finally, Q&A session with Mr. E is in effect. Yes, y'all. For a minute now, I've been asking my viewers and listeners to just please email me at specialdeliveryshow86@gmail.com. And I'm finally getting some responses. I got a few letters in the bag, and so I'm going to read one letter. And what I would love to do is read one letter a week, because I know I haven't been consistent with a specific time when I put out content, but I want to change that. So I need your help. So, if you send me a letter, I would definitely, make an episode out of it. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do one letter an episode. I would love to do that once a week. Let's start with this first letter though. Because it just motivates me to keep moving, y'all. I mean, really. Just knowing that people are listening and watching my show, it just motivates me to keep moving, and keep going. Because there are moments, I'm not gonna lie, I've really thought about I thought about quitting it, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not gonna quit it. And so yeah, I'm stumbling. But here we go. Very first letter. Here we go. Dear Mr. E, I have to start this letter by warning you it's incredibly long, so if you shorten it, we completely understand. We just want to make sure you understand how truly remarkable you are, and your show is amazing. The Special Delivery Show brings interviews to a whole new level. It's not just intriguing content, it's you. From the moment we tuned into your show, we felt like we've known you our whole life. Your sense of humor, your charm, your big heart, it feels like we were listening to a good friend speaking on things that brought back joyful memories from childhood. You are the most real podcaster out there. We love listening to you ask questions like, what's your favorite cereal? It's the simple things that's so relatable to the both of us. Not to mention you're from Jersey. Only the best people are from Jersey. Shout out to Jersey. Listening to you speak is like taking a trip in a time machine to our younger years. Your show gets better and better with each guest. Some of our favorite guests were Allure. Needless to say, All Cried Out was the jam. Those ladies are amazing. Also, J. Anthony Frankie. We're not going to mention which one of us had a huge crush on him growing up when he was on California Dreams, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Love your episode with Tyron Perry. Hey, Mr. Postman, You Are My Everything are some of our favorite songs. Your latest episode with Elisa Reyes hit the list of one of our favorite episodes. Both of us are huge fans of all that, and gotten our own children to watch the old episodes. You are talented, professional with how you conduct your interviews. Honestly, no one could do what you do. If it wasn't for you, we would have never started Cream of My Coffee podcast. You inspired us to become podcasters we look up to. On our bad days, you made us smile. We thank you, not only for your show that we get to listen to, but also just for you being you. You make the world a better place. We honestly say that you are not just our favorite podcaster, but likewise our friend. You have been our biggest supporter from day one. The world needs more people like you. Okay, I know I made this letter long, but honestly these words come from the heart. So, now for our question. From the moment we tuned into your show, we wondered and wondered. And now we just have to know, how do you book these celebrities? Where do you find them? It's amazing. What's the secret to finding all of these celebrities and movie producers? Thank you for all that you do and always keeping it real. We appreciate you, your number one fans, Teddy and Jenny, Cream of My Coffee podcast. Okay. But first, let me say this. Thank you so much to Teddy and Jenny. I really, really love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And that letter was so heartfelt. I felt it. This is the stuff that I'm talking about, guys. It's like, this keeps me motivated and keeps me going. It really does. Knowing people are listening, knowing you guys love the stuff that like the stuff that I'm putting out, it just keeps me going. It really does, and I really appreciate it. Teddy and Jenny, they have an amazing podcast called Cream of My Coffee. They deal with relationships and relationship goals, and they're great. I've had them on my show, episode 29. I was on their podcast, which aired on March 27th of last year, and they're just great, man. The first time I met them, not in person, but it was all through TikTok, and I'm really shy, and Jenny was, okay, let me start over. So Jenny did a TikTok live, and I immediately noticed, like, wow, she has an amazing energy. She looks like Alyssa Milano. No kidding, she looks like a Puerto Rican Alyssa Milano, and she just had a great smile and great energy. And so I'm really shy when asking people, hey, do you listen to podcasts or, whatever. But I said, what the heck? And sure enough, I asked her, like in the live, I typed in, hey, do you listen to podcasts? She said, yeah, I do all the time. And I said, well, I have a podcast called Special Delivery Show. If you would like to listen to it, check it out. And from there on, we follow each other. She listens to my podcast. She gives me, she's like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. She gives me positive feedback. And then Teddy also, both of them are just great, man. And so I'm gonna answer your question. I'm so sorry. I just want to give you guys props, and please follow them. They're great. They're on TikTok, but to listen to their podcast, they're on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, all of them. All right, so I'm gonna answer your question. Here we go. All right, this is a question I get quite a bit, actually, because from family members to friends to people who listen to my podcast, they ask, hey, how do you get these people to come on your show? And shout out to all of those people that she mentioned too, real quick. Allure, shout out to Allure, shout out to Elisa Reyes, shout out to J. Anthony Frankie, great people. So, yeah, how do I book them? So the first year of my podcast, and this is in the origin story that I put out there, I did all of my stuff on Instagram Live, all of it. And so I used Instagram to get in contact with a majority of the celebrities. You'd be surprised how much of a tool Instagram, a useful tool Instagram can be. From their management, some of these celebrities have their management emails. They have their personal emails. Sometimes they even have their phone number, which I don't use. But yeah, Instagram. Mostly Instagram. Instagram. Sometimes I use Facebook to get in contact with them. But it's never just one thing. And the Internet Movie Database is also a good source of information, specifically Internet Movie Database Pro, which is something that you do have to pay for. But man, if you can afford it, it's great. It's really great. But honestly, a majority of my people that I've had on my show is through Instagram. Honestly, Instagram. Just to say this too. It's timing that plays a huge part in it too. Specifically, let's go to Elisa Reyes, who I recently had on my show. Elisa Reyes, back in 2021, I tried, I DM'd her, and she never responded back, which is, normal because she gets a ton of DMs or whatever, right? But it wasn't until I interviewed Phil Moore, who I had on my show last year, where, like, if you watch the interview, we talk about Nickelodeon The Orange Years, which is a documentary on Hulu, and she was a part of it. Also, she's a producer on it. And so he was like, yeah, shout out to Elisa Reyes, she championed this thing. And he said what he had to say, and then I said, yeah, shout out to Elisa Reyes too. I would really love to have you on my show, right? And then thinking nothing of it, I was hoping that she would watch the episode and maybe think about being on my show. Unbeknownst to me, Phil had asked her, hey, would you be on the Special Delivery Show? Emmanuel, I don't know exactly what he said, okay? but I know he just put in a good word for me. And sure enough, she DM'd me. She's like, hey, when you want to set it up? I'm like, shoot. Initially, actually, we were supposed to do that interview in July of last year, but because of the writer strike and the actor strike, we weren't able to do it. So either way, man, I mean, it was just timing, and it's awesome because it was really worth it, man, just waiting to interview her, man, because it was great. And yeah, and hopefully we'll do something again in the future. So yeah, that's Instagram mostly. I'm being honest. Instagram, I use Instagram. I use and it also I would say this, like, most celebrities are people, and people have schedules, man. And if you're patient, and you're resilient, you know, anything's possible. A perfect example of that is with Judd Whitnick, who was a part of season 3 of the Real World. Also, he was a writer of DC and Marvel comics. Now, I believe I DM'd Judd back in, I can't remember, I want to say March of 2021, yeah. And he responded. He was like, hey, I got a lot going on. I mean, he gave me this, he gave me this long email, but I was so happy that he responded. And he says, well, basically, he said, I won't be available, for any interviews until, I think, April. And I was like, cool. I'll get back with you in April. And sure enough, I did that, and we set it up. Same thing with Sean Kanan, who was in Karate Kid 3. He played bad boy Mike Barnes. He was also in Cobra Kai. He wasn't available until a certain time, and I said, okay, cool. I'll get back with you at the time that you're asking, and that's what happened. So it's like, if you're patient and you are willing to just wait out things, but in the meantime, while you're waiting, you can try to get in contact with other people. That's what I do. Then anything's possible. I mean, anything. Shout out to Cara Mayer Robinson, who I had on my show. She's a podcaster, and she has a show called Really Famous, and she's interviewed a ton of celebrities. And one of the things she told me, which really gave me a lot of comfort, was booking celebrities is probably one of the most challenging things, because people have different schedules. She said even the Today Show and Good Morning America, that's one of their biggest challenges. And that made me feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? It didn't discourage me. It just made me feel like, okay, it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? It's these celebrities. They just have different schedules. And also, a lot of celebrities, man, some of them don't like to do interviews, and that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? It's just being resilient and just using what you have and being professional too. And I appreciate you saying I was professional, and I try to be. I think and I've only had maybe 3 people or maybe 4 people totally flake out on me, and that was in my first year, because I was doing lives, and that's why I stopped doing lives, because I was like, that's too nerve-wracking for me, especially when the flyers get made and then they flake out. It's too much. But yeah, that's it. I hope I answered your question. If you have any questions, guys, just email me at specialdeliveryshow86@gmail.com. Like I said, I would really like to do I got a few letters in the bag, and I want to start putting out content once a week. So that way I can be consistent with it. But I need your help. So please, if you're listening to me, if you have any questions, or just if it doesn't necessarily have to be a question, just your thoughts about the show, I'll read it. You know what I mean? Good or positive or negative. You know what I mean? It doesn't make me a difference. I don't take it personal. I take constructive criticism, I think, very well. And so I want to say thank you so much to all my listeners and viewers. I hope you have an amazing day, and thank you again to Teddy and Jenny for the letter, and let's keep it going. If you really like the show, If you enjoyed the show, please tell people about it, share it. Yeah. And peace.